The Bible recounts numerous miraculous events that showcase divine intervention in human history. One of the most extraordinary miracles is found in Joshua 10:12-14, where the sun and moon stood still to grant the Israelites more time to defeat their enemies. This passage has intrigued theologians, historians, and scientists alike, leading to extensive discussions on its meaning, implications, and authenticity. In Joshua 10, the Israelites, under the leadership of Joshua, engage in battle against the Amorite coalition. The Gibeonites, having previously formed an alliance with Israel, are attacked by 5 Amorite kings. In response, Joshua leads his army to Gibeon, where God promises him victory. As the battle progresses, the Israelites gain the upper hand, but they need more daylight to complete their triumph. Joshua then prays for divine intervention. Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Ajalon. Joshua 10:12, NIV. The passage continues to describe how God answered Joshua's prayer by halting the movement of the sun and moon, allowing the Israelites to secure victory. The text concludes with a powerful statement affirming the uniqueness of this miracle. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Joshua 10:14, NIV. The event holds immense theological significance as it exemplifies God's direct intervention in human affairs. It reinforces the belief that God responds to the prayers of his faithful servants and ensures the fulfillment of his divine plan. This miracle also underscores Joshua's role as a leader blessed by God, continuing the legacy of Moses. For the Israelites, the event was a testament to their covenant with God. By granting them victory, God reaffirmed his promise to give them the land of Canaan. The narrative also served as a powerful reminder that faith and obedience could yield extraordinary results. Biblical scholars and theologians have proposed various interpretations of this event, ranging from literal to symbolic. Many believers accept the event as a literal, supernatural act of God. According to this view, God either halted the Earth's rotation or manipulated time itself. While such an occurrence defies known scientific principles, proponents argue that an omnipotent God is capable of suspending natural laws for his divine purposes. Some scholars suggest that the language of Joshua 10:12-14 is poetic rather than literal. Ancient cultures often used metaphorical expressions to describe significant events. In this interpretation, Joshua's prayer may have been a request for continued daylight, which could have been fulfilled through an unusually long day or a psychological perception of time. Some researchers have sought scientific explanations for the event, such as atmospheric refraction, which could have prolonged daylight. Others propose that the event describes an extended twilight or an eclipse rather than a literal stopping of the sun. In ancient literature, victories were often described with dramatic exaggerations. Some scholars believe that the passage follows this tradition, emphasizing Israel's triumph rather than recording a literal astronomical event. From a scientific standpoint, halting the sun would require the Earth's rotation to cease abruptly. If this were to happen, the forces involved would have catastrophic consequences, disrupting gravity, atmospheric conditions, and ocean currents. Given these implications, skeptics argue that the event must have a different explanation. One alternative hypothesis suggests that God slowed the rotation of the Earth gradually, mitigating the expected destruction. Another possibility is that the phenomenon was localized, a unique atmospheric occurrence affecting only the region where the battle took place. Interestingly, accounts of extended days or unusual celestial phenomena appear in various cultures. Some ancient records, including Chinese and Mesoamerican sources, describe a long day or a delayed sunset. While these accounts are not direct confirmations of Joshua's event, they add an intriguing dimension to the discussion. Ancient civilizations often associated cosmic events with divine intervention, reinforcing the idea that the biblical narrative aligns with broader ancient perceptions of celestial anomalies as signs from the gods. For believers, the event in Joshua 10 is not a question of scientific possibility, but of divine sovereignty. The miracle serves as a demonstration of God's power and his willingness to aid his people. Faith, by its nature, embraces the supernatural, accepting that God operates beyond human understanding. Throughout history, people of faith have drawn inspiration from this story, seeing it as an assurance that God listens to prayers and intervenes in critical moments. The passage encourages trust in divine providence and reinforces the belief that God is actively involved in the lives of his followers. In Christian theology, Joshua's victory is often seen as a foreshadowing of Christ's ultimate triumph over sin and death. Just as God fought for Israel, Christ fights for humanity's salvation. The event also symbolizes the authority given to God's people through faith and prayer. Jesus himself emphasized the power of faith in moving mountains, Matthew 17:20, aligning with the theme of divine intervention seen in Joshua's battle. Additionally, some theologians draw parallels between Joshua and Jesus, noting that Joshua's name, Yehoshua, is the Hebrew form of Jesus' name. This linguistic connection underscores the theme of deliverance and victory found in both the Old and New Testaments. The account of the sun standing still during Joshua's battle remains one of the most debated miracles in the Bible. Whether interpreted literally, metaphorically, or scientifically, the event conveys a powerful message about divine intervention, faith, and the fulfillment of God's promises. It challenges believers to trust in God's power and to seek his guidance in their own battles. While modern science may struggle to explain the event, its theological and spiritual significance endures. The story continues to inspire faith, reminding readers that with God, nothing is impossible. Just as he granted Joshua victory, he remains present in the struggles of his people, ready to answer prayers and perform wonders beyond human comprehension. The biblical account in Joshua 10:12-14 describes an extraordinary event where Joshua, the leader of the Israelites, prayed for the sun and moon to stand still so that his army could continue their battle against the Amorites. In response to his prayer, God miraculously prolonged the daylight, allowing Israel to achieve victory. This passage teaches profound lessons about faith, divine intervention, the power of prayer, and God's sovereignty. One of the most striking lessons from this passage is Joshua's unwavering faith. Joshua did not hesitate to ask for what seemed impossible, for the sun to stop in the sky. His request demonstrates an unshakable belief in God's power and willingness to intervene on behalf of his people. This teaches believers today that faith should not be limited by human reasoning or perceived impossibilities. When faced with challenges, trusting in God's ability to act beyond natural laws can bring about extraordinary results.